Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're going to do something a little different. I'm putting on my communication coach hat to tackle one of the most high-stakes, sweat-inducing moments in any IT professional's day, and that is the escalation. We are going to literally debug how teams escalate critical issues, and we'll transform those panic-induced, vague emails into something that is instantly actionable. Let's just dive right in. Every single one of us has either sent or received an email that looks exactly like this. Quick question, system is down, need help ASA. Honestly, vague subjects like quick question are the absolute biggest email mistakes professionals make. Why? Because it tells the recipient absolutely nothing. No actual urgency, no specific technical context, no required action. It's basically just a panicked plea for help masquerading as a professional update. And this brings us to the real, painful, operational cost of those vague emails. 20. That's a 20-minute penalty that the receiving team just eats while trying to reconstruct lost context. Think about it. When an engineer gets a vague escalation, they're forced to dig through Slack threads, hunt for user emails, and piece together a timeline before they can even begin diagnosing the actual problem. That's 20 minutes of critical downtime gone, purely because of poor communication. So, to fix this, we really need to understand what an escalation actually is. Look, it's not just hitting the forward button on a ticket. It's what we call an escalation boundary. This is that exact transition point between support tiers where context essentially goes to die unless it is actively preserved. When a ticket moves, say from level 1 support to level 2 engineering, the information architecture usually fails. You have to actively capture validated facts, diagnostic results, and attempted remediations to successfully bridge that gap. So how do we actively preserve all that context? Well, we use a structured algorithm. The absolute perfect escalation email has a 5-part anatomy. You need a strong subject, clear context, the business impact, a chronological timeline, and a highly specific ask. If you follow this exact framework, you're giving senior engineers and third-party vendors the exact data they need right when they need it, in a format they can actually use. Let's see how this builds, starting right at the top with the subject line. Take a look at this. Contrast a super weak subject like RE, urgent issue, with a structured one like urgent, issue escalation, immediate attention required. Right away, the second one flags the priority and the action needed. But here's the real pro tip, length strategy. Keeping your subject line between 40 to 60 characters is the absolute sweet spot. It guarantees clarity, but also keeps it highly scannable on mobile devices. And remember, over 60% of emails are opened on mobile. Now, once they actually open the email, your tone matters immensely. You want to convey authority and urgency, for sure, but without causing a total meltdown. So consider phrases like, I'm flagging a ticket that's exceeded its SLA, or we're currently blocked and waiting on feedback, or even looping you in to help prioritize. See how those sound? These language patterns are objective and factual. They state exactly why the escalation is happening without resorting to excessive exclamation points or emotional pleas. It keeps the focus exactly where it should be, on the business process. All right, next up, attachments. Guys, this is where so many escalations completely fall apart. You need to provide what we call audit-ready evidence. This means authentic, directly sourced documentation, stuff that allows senior engineers or maybe even external compliance auditors to verify facts immediately without having to retrace your diagnostic steps. Basically, it proves that you've done the foundational troubleshooting before you pass the buck. So, what exactly qualifies as audit-ready? We're looking at a gold standard of 4 specific items here. First, screenshots that clearly show computer-generated date and timestamps, along with the full URL. A tightly cropped window of a generic error message? Yeah, no, that does not count. Second, if you're dealing with a web app, pull the console logs showing the JavaScript errors. Third, grab the network tab showing the specific API request failures. Or fourth, link directly to the Sentry trace results. Doing this transforms a vague complaint into a highly actionable engineering report. Okay, enough theory. It's time to put this into practice. Let's imagine we're opening up a fresh email draft right now in our Gmail sandbox to handle a seriously high-stakes scenario. We've got a P1 payment processing outage. Yikes. We need to escalate this critical failure to both our third-party vendor and our internal management team. First, let's look at the bad draft. Hey, the payment gateway is broken. Users are complaining. Did the weekend update cause this? Please advise ASAP.
Honestly, this is a nightmare. It has a complete lack of structure. It offers zero actionable data. The vendor has no idea what broken means, management has no clue about the financial impact, and the team, well, they're going to waste that dreaded 20 minutes just trying to figure out what the actual error code is.
So, acting kind of like a coach in the film room here, we need to extract our raw, structured data before we write a single sentence. Let's break it down. Our validated facts. Users cannot authenticate payments. Our diagnostic results. We have a specific CORS error on the checkout API. Attempted remediation. Level 1 already cleared the cache and tested alternate browsers. And finally, the crucial business context. It's month-end close with a very high volume of transactions. All right, let's build the clean rewrite right in our email client. We're going to start with a highly visible, scannable subject line. Urgent. P1 payment gateway outage. Escalation required. Bam! Everyone knows exactly what this is. Then we deliver the context and diagnostic results right out of the gate. Since 8 a.m., users cannot authenticate payments. Console shows CORS error on checkout API. Just like that, we've completely eliminated the guesswork. Next up, we inject the business impact. We stated clearly, affecting 100% of checkouts during month-end close. Management instantly knows why this is a P1 priority. Then comes the timeline. Initial reports at 8 a.m., Level 1 cleared cache and tested browsers by 8:15 a.m. with no success. By stating exactly what Level 1 has already attempted, we prevent senior engineers from doing redundant troubleshooting. They can jump straight into the advanced diagnostics. Finally, we close out the draft with our ask and our evidence. Requesting Tier 3 vendor intervention to check cross-origin policy changes. Notice how it's specific and directive? And then we explicitly reference our audit-ready evidence. Attached time-stamped screenshots and Sentry network logs. Everything the vendor needs to verify that CORS error is sitting right there in the attachments. When you combine all these elements into your final email, there is one overarching design rule you absolutely must follow. Utilize short paragraphs and bullet points for maximum scannability. This formatting completely respects the reader's time. I mean, they shouldn't have to hunt through a massive wall of text just to find an API error, right? Formatting for scannability drastically accelerates the path to resolution. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. The next time a critical system breaks, and let's be real, it will break, will your escalation email create an information barrier where context basically goes to die, or will you use this 5-step algorithm to bridge the gap and drive straight to a solution? The choice, and honestly, the speed of your recovery is entirely in your hands. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Now go out there and communicate with absolute clarity.